Hi, Tilty Carlson here. I'll never get tired of the Rocky franchise, and I don't know how many times I've bought these movies on how many formats, but I'm always going to because I love the movies that much. Previously, I reviewed the 4K Steelbook individual releases of the Rocky films. Today, I'm actually going to be looking at the box set of the 6 films in 4K. This is Rocky, the Ultimate Knockout Collection. I'm going to unbox this release and share my opinions. Nice cover art there with our hero, Rocky Balboa. Spine text of the inner casing, back cover, inside of the packaging. This does include a digital code for the films. And we get Rocky, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4, which also includes the Rocky vs. Drago director's cut version of the movie, Rocky 5, Rocky Balboa, and the bonus disc. This bonus disc originally came with the Rocky 1 through 4 4K set that came out before. So that is the same disc. There's nothing additional. Now, one word of warning I do need to give. A lot of discs tend to have that off-gassing thing going on where residue gets on disc. I don't know if you can really see it here, but there was a bit of the residue here. I cleaned it up the best I could. We'll talk a little more about that later, but it is something that you might want to stay away from this collection until they've resolved the issues. Go all the distance with this Rocky collection, featuring 6 knockout Rocky films. Sylvester Stallone stars in the greatest boxing saga of all time and triumphs as one of the most inspirational characters in cinematic history. Witness the epic, action-packed fights and unforgettable moments as Rocky strives for greatness through sheer determination against impossible odds. So what can you say about the Rocky movies that hasn't already been said? The original 1976 film was this little low-budget picture that came out of nowhere. It made a star out of Sylvester Stallone, and it even won Best Picture. And of course, when something is a success, a franchise usually follows. The original film, of course, revolves around Rocky Balboa, who's a low-class club fighter who also has to moonlight as a loan shark just to make ends meet. His best friend is Paulie, who works in the meat plant, and Paulie's sister Adrian, who works in the pet store Rocky has a crush on. Rocky, of course, has a difficult relationship with Mickey Goldmill, played by veteran actor Burgess Meredith, who runs the local gym. But Rocky gets a surprise when the world heavyweight champion Apollo Creed wanted to give the local fighter a title shot when a match that he was going to do fell through. Rocky, of course, gets Mickey to train him for the big fight, and it's not long before he's going up against the heavyweight champion. Rocky 2 continues the story, and he even gets a second shot at Apollo Creed, but his life's quickly changing, and he sees that he's going to have to make some sort of income in order to support his forthcoming child, and it's not long before he's back where he belongs, in the ring. Rocky 3 brings about a new challenger, the fiercely competitive and loudmouth Clubber Lang, portrayed by Mr. T, who ends up becoming the toughest opponent that Rocky's faced to date. Rocky has to deal with a lot of other losses along the way and personal tragedies, and before long he actually allies with one of his former foes to train, get back in shape, and go back to the ring to win the title back from Clubber Lang. Rocky 4 is probably the most infamous of the series, featuring Russians getting into the world of professional boxing, and their champion Ivan Drago holds an exhibition match which has disastrous results, prompting Rocky to go to Russia to train and have a battle against Ivan Drago on Russian soil. Rocky 5 takes the series back down to earth, and this time around, Rocky finds himself disenfranchised with some further personal and financial tragedies, and he ends up taking up training Tommy Gunn, a young competitive fighter who unfortunately has far more ambition than initially meets the eye, being manipulated by an unscrupulous man who's pretty clearly a stand-in for Don King. And the final film of 6, Rocky Balboa, didn't come out till about 16 years later. This features a much older Rocky who now runs a restaurant, but who yearns for the days when he was fighting in the ring. And he ultimately manages to get his wish, participating in an exhibition match against world boxing champion Mason the Line Dixon in Las Vegas. There's a lot of highs and lows in the Rocky franchise. There are great movies, there are not so great movies, but there's also some great inspirational moments throughout. I mean, these movies revolve around boxing, but they're so much more than boxing movies. The first 2 movies, of course, have more of a drama-driven approach. And then, as one reviewer that I read online said, around Rocky 3 is where they start being movies and not films. But I do think Rocky 3, of course, gave the series the kick in the pants that it needed, even if Rocky 4 went a little off the rails and maybe a little too far and ridiculous. Of course, Sylvester Stallone tried to fix some of those things with his director's cut called Rocky vs. Drago, but at the end of the day, even though there are some good changes made here, Rocky IV is still Rocky IV at the end of the day. Rocky V tended to get some mixed reviews for its approach to the character. Although I personally like that film, I would even take it over Rocky IV personally, because it brings back the street vibe that the series had been missing for so many years and brings everything back down to earth. I mean, nobody was expecting to get another Rocky movie, but Rocky Balboa ends up being quite the surprise and maybe even the best in the series since the original, going back to a more dramatic tone, showing Rocky later in life and a lot of the things he has to deal with, including, pain and loss, and of course his missing being in the ring. I love all of these movies. Even the lesser entries I always have a lot of fun with. You get some great opponents for Rocky, a great supporting cast. You have Talia Shire playing Adrian, the late great Burt Young playing Paulie, Rocky's bum and best friend. Burt Young pretty much played the same character in every movie he was ever in, but I love the guy for that. And then you have plenty of other characters, including Dolph Lundgren portraying the Russian boxer Ivan Drago. Richard Gant doing a great job playing a Don King stand-in in Rocky V. And then Rocky Balboa even includes real-life professional boxer Antonio Tarver portraying Mason the Lion Dixon. This is a fantastic film series all around. Again, I like all the movies in this series, even the ones that aren't the greatest. I just have a soft spot for this character, this franchise, and I always love whipping these ones out and putting on a marathon every few months. Now, of course, this set does not include the Creed movies, which were the spin-off series in which Sylvester Stallone appears in the first two installments. Those are available separately. I don't know if there is a box set of the Creed movies yet or not, but I have a feeling there'll probably be Creed 4 eventually, so you might want to hold off on those. So how does this set fare? How do these movies look? Again, these are identical to the previously released 4Ks. I have done more thorough reviews for those on my respective YouTube pages for those movies. The original Rocky, of course, is always going to be a pretty gritty, grainy-looking film, but again, it reflects the way it's supposed to look and the way it was made, and I'm glad to see there's no unwanted noise reduction here. Rocky 2 through 5 all get a pretty nice upgrade here. There's some bright, bold colors, and of course the deeper, darker black levels when they're needed thanks to the HDR. I mean, there's some close-ups of Clubber Lang's face in Rocky 3 that show off a ton of detail. And Rocky vs. Drago, the alternate cut of Rocky IV, has a very different look from the theatrical cut, in addition to a different aspect ratio, but it still looks very good overall. The one movie in the series that really does not look good, unfortunately, is Rocky Balboa, and I don't know if this is because of the mixture of film and digital techniques, a deliberately sort of washed out, distorted look throughout the movie, or the use of noise reduction, but that's the one dud in the bunch as far as picture quality goes. Sad because it's one of the better movies. Now, unfortunately, this does not include Blu-ray copies of the film, so you don't get the Blu-ray bonus features that were on the original Rocky. There is some stuff missing there. But then if you buy all the movies separately, you don't get the bonus features disc, so regardless of what approach you take to collecting the Rocky movies, you are going to miss out on some bonus features. The 4K of the first Rocky does have some bonus features, including a look with makeup artist Michael Westmore, some looks at filming the film, some behind-the-scenes footage of the on-set environment back in the day. The Rocky Balboa disc also has some bonus features, including an alternate ending. And Rocky Balboa also includes an extended cut, which incorporates a lot of the deleted scenes and a few bits of alternate footage. It's not quite as thorough a job as the Rocky vs. Drago cut for Rocky IV is, but I'm glad to see that Mr. Stallone took some good efforts there. Now, I do have to give one word of warning. There have been a lot of bad reviews online because of the packaging and the off-gassing and how this affects the discs and makes them hard to play. When I first got this disc, the first thing I did was went through and tested all of the discs. Unfortunately, while all the discs played flawlessly, one did not, and that was Rocky V, which started glitching and distorting about 20 minutes into the movie. No matter how much I cleaned the disc, I unfortunately couldn't get it to play, so I am going to have to send this set back to Amazon for a replacement, which I'm hoping will remedy that problem. So, what should you do when it comes to collecting the Rocky movies? Buy the individuals or buy the box sets? The individuals include Blu-ray copies, and of course the Blu-ray of the original Rocky has a few bonus features that you don't get in this set. But then if you buy the individuals, you don't get the bonus disc that's in this set, so it's hard to say. It depends on your personal preferences. I mean, the box set's probably easier to get, but you'll want to make sure your discs work and maybe clean out the case because of all the off-gassing. I would probably hold off until they manage to create a casing and a packaging that doesn't have that issue and in which all the discs play flawlessly. Because again, I'm going to have to return this set to Amazon because Rocky V didn't play the way it was supposed to. So the Rocky movies I absolutely love. I can recommend based on the quality of the films and the quality of the transfers in here. But again, I am going to have to say, hold off and see if these issues are addressed. How about you? Are you a fan of the Rocky movies? Did you buy the individual 4Ks or the box set? What was your reasoning? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos. And make sure to listen to like if you found it helpful. I'm Timothy Carlson. I'll see you next time.